What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of CMA Podcast. How is everybody doing? Back once again with the Burt Locker host, Mr. Burt Green. How are you doing, sir?
I am very well, thank you. And you?
Very good, very good. Always a pleasure to have you on, man. How's life?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Just been, making a lot of videos. I'll be dropping. I don't know when this is actually going to be dropping, so it's probably going to have dropped ages ago. They're breaking down the latest fights. You know, Will Smith versus Chris Rock, all the good stuff. Yeah, it's like
God damn
tail
it,
of the
man.
tape. Tail of the tape. I got all the vital statistics. Gonna see who would win in a scrap.
Yeah, well,
Nobody.
this is actually going to drop on Fight Night UFC 273. So go back and check out Burt Green's channel on YouTube and have a look and see the breakdown of Will Smith versus Chris Rock.
By the time this drops, no one will have remembered what actually happened.
Yeah,
the news cycles are viciously fast these days, aren't they?
Absolutely, man. We'll probably be back to Ukraine and Trump and Biden and all that kind of stuff by then.
Hundreds of these fights will have been scratched from the card, and we're going to have breakdowns for them anyway. And people will be like, "Oh, but you've broken this fight down. They're not even fighting anymore." So yeah, we pre-recorded this one, so sue us.
There you go, man. That's it. But hey, what are you going to do, man? It is a very good day for me today. Do you know what happened? You probably don't. For the first time in 2.5 years, I went online and I bought myself a concert ticket.
Oh, who are you going to see?
Meshuggah.
Okay, yeah. I actually one of my mates who is my top fan on my Facebook page. I think that's one of her favorite bands. I think.
Yeah, they're killer, man.
It's between them and Avenged Sevenfold, I think. I don't know these bands. I'm an idiot.
Okay.
It's like these are bands that she's mentioned. But it's
all right.
I've definitely heard of Meshuggah. I've actually booked some concert tickets myself this week.
Right, Celine Dion.
How did you know?
Oh, dude, it's just your hair. You know what I mean?
Speaking of which, if you haven't seen it already, Google someone has done Titanic starring a cat rather than Kate Winslet. And watch it now. Thank me later. It's superb. It's so good. Anyway, no, it's not Celine Dion. In all seriousness, I'm going to go see Clutch in December.
Oh, wow.
In their December tour. I cannot wait.
What's their big one? Yo, you made me clean. Something electric. But someday maybe you won't worry my life anymore. This is great viewing for the fans. I love it. I don't know.
Thing is, I'm weird in how I consume music. I don't really consume music probably how you consume it. I wouldn't really call myself a musical person, like, at all. I like music. My favorite experiences are going to watch things live. It's how I originally got into Clutch in the first place. I supported Motorhead when I think that was Brixton Academy in like 2009 or something like that. And they supported Motorhead, and I was like, I quite like these. So I've just literally I just make notes of it, and I haven't listened to them in years. And I was like, I was looking for stuff to listen to at the gym. I was like, I wonder what Clutch have released these days. This was like a while back, and I just like put on Spotify, just playlist all their songs, and I really just enjoy they're just a bunch of dads that rock, and like some of their like lyrics in that are just kind of like bizarre. Like I love how they managed to work Bob Lazar into a song as well, by like just right Red Rover, Bob Lazar's coming over. It's like flawless.
Yeah,
flawless, guys.
That's
absolutely brilliant. And what's the other one's Psychic Warfare, I think, is one of their albums. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think most of the tracks off that album are ones that I resonate to, because there's my favorite track by far is In Walks Barbarella, just one of my favorite songs of all time.
Soft one. That's a soft one.
Is it soft? Well, it's got a lot of saxophone stuff in it, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't know. I suppose it depends how hard do you like it? That's what she said.
That is what she said. But yeah, man, I hopped online. I bought some concert tickets. Restrictions and everything are gone for how long, we don't know. And it was so long since I bought a ticket. My last concert was February 17th of 2020, but I bought all those tickets prior to November of 2019. So when I go and buy a ticket today, my address, I'd moved address since then. So I almost clicked and had it sent to my previous address, and the ticket would have been lost. And then an administrative nightmare trying to
do you still get paper tickets then?
Yeah, I don't go and do the whole phone thing. I don't even like buying online. I prefer going to the vendor and getting the concert ticket and just having the ticket in my hand. Because when I go out,
what do you do? Do you set your time machine to 1990? And then...
I do. I don't bring the phone. I don't bring my phone, bro, because I've lost so many phones at concerts before. Number one. And number two, I like to enjoy the experience. I don't want to be one of these phone in hand people. So I bring my old phone. I have an old Nokia, and I bring that, and I just contact whoever I need to contact, who I'm going to the show with. I can call home. I'm contactable, but there's no like phones up in my face. I just enjoy the experience. You know?
No, I'm 100% with you. I just didn't realize that getting a paper ticket was an option anymore.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, is it? Mm-hmm. Do you have to pay extra?
There's delivery costs, but come on, man.
Well, the thing is like when you go down the list, like I saw it was a meme I saw the other day. It's like someone ordering tickets on Ticketmaster. It's just going through all the charges, just like handling charge, delivery charge, electronic ticket charge. And then it's like, and then another charge at the bottom, $2. What? Come on, man. What are you going to do? Not go? Charge?
Fuck that shit.
Literally, that is what it's like. I didn't know that because I've always preferred paper tickets. I keep the stubs. Like in like a weird scrapbook because I'm a sad loser, and I just it's just basically what it is. But I've got like a little kind of book like full of like just trips and memories and shit, and I sometimes flick through it. I'm just like, I remember that, and we did this. And it's like, it's nice.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Those
don't make money, make memories. You know,
those memorabilia parts are of the whole experience. Like I have my little wall of fame here. This is the first selfie I ever took. Do you know who this is?
I can't see because I'm looking at my phone screen, not my laptop screen.
Right. Well, that is Jeff Waters from Annihilator. I had like a little Tesco's camera back in 2004. And it's one of the ones where you have to flick to get it like the next picture. Nice. And I had it in my pocket as we were passing the venue to go to like lunch before and they were coming in on their tour bus, and I pulled it out of my pocket and no one was around to take the picture, so I just swung it around. Very first selfie I ever took, right there. Jeff Waters from Annihilator.
I would not have been able to pick him out of a lineup, so it's wasted on me. But that's awesome. That's awesome.
There you go, man.
I love that kind of thing.
So we're here, UFC 273. Jeez, dude, I was at UFC 93 as UFC 273 coming up this evening. We've again transcended. It's futuristic. It's pre-recorded, but it's dropping, and it's Saturday, and it's tonight. Fight night tonight.
Fight night tonight. Yes.
There you go.
No, I'm looking forward to this card. To be fair, there's some sneakily good fights all over the place. To be fair, honestly, the prelims could be a fight night on their own.
Yeah, for sure.
Easily. Yeah. Like I was looking at them. I was going through like making my picks, and I thought, that's a strong prelims, and 2 title fights. You know, one champion who people don't think is legitimate, but I've got a lot to say. We'll wait for that.
Yeah, there you go. Some stern commentary, I would imagine.
Well, no, not even stern commentary. I just again, I think that people have been drawn in. Let's just say that. Yeah, let's say that. But before we go in there, guys, I just want to give a quick word from our sponsor.
All right, guys, we are sponsored by Lucerne Beer. Do me a favor, guys. If you're in the Lucerne area, go grab yourself some Lucerne beer. It is delicious. When it's ice cold, it goes down so smooth, and you'll really help us out. If you get yourself a beer and you take a picture and you put it on social media and you use the hashtag CMA Lucerne Beer, that would really help us out. We'll get a bit of a kickback and you'll still enjoy your beer. At the end of every single month, the best picture will get the free case of beer directly from the brewery. That sounds like a pretty goddamn good deal, Burt, right?
It really does. I mean, yeah, what, free beer for taking a picture? Come on now. And plus, you get to take a picture of beer in a nice setting.
You
What's
get to
not to
have
like?
beer. You get to have the beer.
You get to get in, you know, because I mean, to get the best lighting, obviously you're going to want to do it in the daytime, which means getting a daytime buzz on, which is something that I am fully in favor of. You know, it's like, as long as you're not driving, probably. I mean, I won't tell if you don't. I'm kidding. I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying that, yeah, getting a nice afternoon buzz sometimes and then taking a few nice pictures is its own reward. And if you get an extra reward of a case of beer, then that's even more of a reward than its own reward.
Exactly.
So I guess what I'm saying is go out there, take some pictures of your beer and get some free beer.
Yeah, and go back to work nice and relaxed after a nice lunch with a few beers inside you. What could go wrong, right?
Yeah. You know, your boss is just like, well, why are you still drinking at your desk? It's just like, yeah, this is my working beer. Calms my nerves.
There you go. So that's all you got to do, guys. Do me a favor. Get yourself a beer, take a picture, put it on social media, but make sure, and for us, hashtag CMA Lucerne Beer. Thank you very much. All right. And we are back. Guys, go get yourself a beer. So UFC 273, Burt, we're back. No fights last weekend, but I guess
there were.
the oversaturation.
Sorry.
Say again.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say.
the
right. This is fight night.
There you go.
No fights last weekend. There were no fights last weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
We're playing time machine here, guys. But yeah, I mean, it's like a welcome break, because like the controversy of the oversaturation of the market back in the day, when it used to be 3 or 4 pay-per-views per year, now it's like every goddamn week. So yeah, we had a nice break last weekend, and here we are this weekend. Some honorable mentions in the prelims. Dude, Mickey Gall kicks off the prelims. Mickey Gall is, would you call him the guy?
I don't think he does. He doesn't kick off the prelims. He headlines the early prelims.
You are absolutely correct. This is why I listen to you, and this is why I don't like coming on these breakdowns without having listened to your breakdown first.
Oh, I haven't posted it yet. I mean, half the fights on there are going to be wrong now.
Yeah,
because of events. But yeah, Mickey Gall against Mike Malott. I'm not going to pretend that I know who Mike Malott is. I know who Mickey Gall is. So, based on the fact that I know Mickey Gall, I'm going to say Mike Malott to win.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. I just thought that would be a nice little kind of a little switcheroo. No, I think Mickey Gall probably by submission, rear naked choke, probably.
Yeah.
Mike Malott's only got a black and white picture, so he's probably dead.
I mean, they're just unknown guys. Mickey Gall, I don't know why Mickey Gall is all the way down there, dude. They got to try and at least build him up, and I don't know. But honorable mention.
They gave him a lot of fights that he lost to his, they can push you as much as they want. If you lose all the time, like even if you are super attractive and wear Wonder Woman outfits to the weigh-ins, if you lose all of your fights, then they can't just renew your contract. They can't do that.
Yeah.
So you'll end up in bare knuckle FC.
Ian Gary is fighting.
He is.
Like,
I mean, he looks really good. In his first, because he's only had one UFC fight, correct?
Yeah. There's a lot of controversy with that guy in Ireland. There's a lot of controversy with the camp and the good McGregor, I guess, type scenario of him being pushed on the social media aspect of him and his persona. But again, it's just going to be interesting. It's like the whole Paddy Pimblett thing. All right, we're 2 fights in. Like, let's see where we are in 6
Let's
fights.
see what happens. Yeah. Be interesting.
100% sincere honorable mention. A fight that was about to be pulled from the card. Aspen Ladd is now fighting with 2 weeks notice replacement, a former CMA podcast guest, Raquel Pennington. An absolute pleasure to deal with her.
Yeah, she was great. That interview was really good as well.
Yeah,
go back and watch it, guys. It's still on the channel.
Listen.
Go back and watch it. It's a really good watch.
Listen to Burt. There you go. She did it from her phone, and she did it with the phone like this. But I don't want to say, "Hey, could you turn your phone?" Because I want to make sure that everyone is happy and comfortable. But yeah, it would have been nice to have a full image, like of like how I see you right now, for example. But just to deal with her, like emailing for a couple of weeks before, trying to schedule it, talking before recording, talking after the recording of the podcast. It was an absolute pleasure. I want Raquel back on this podcast, and I hope she beats Aspen Ladd tonight.
For me, like I said, huge fan of Raquel Pennington. Like, she's been around, it seems like she's been around forever, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she started in like early Invicta,
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of women's mixed martial arts, I'd put her in the pioneers wing, almost.
Yeah.
I'd say. But yeah. Unfortunately, I think Aspen Ladd is one of the, it's like when you had, Rory McDonald coming up, and they saw him as this real kind of complete mixed martial arts. So I'm not saying that Raquel's not. She obviously is, but it's just that some of these younger athletes, like, you start seeing a kind of difference in how they kind of go. I mean, to us, I haven't got a dog in the fight. I don't really, like I said, for me, it's not a case of a preference of who wins. I just think Aspen Ladd, she's very, very skilled. If it stays on the feet, Raquel Pennington's probably got it, though, to be fair. I'd say Raquel Pennington. I think it would be fair to say that Raquel Pennington in boxing range probably beats Aspen Ladd with respect. But Aspen Ladd is bloody good at getting those takedowns, and she's good at striking long enough to just get them. So yeah, who knows? For me, actually, I think it would, because Raquel Pennington's coming in as an underdog. So my money would go on Raquel Pennington, because I don't think it's that big of a long shot that a fighter of the caliber of Raquel Pennington, puts a beating into Aspen Ladd, who is ranked 4th now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen Aspen Ladd fight in a while.
How did
she get up to the 4th?
I'm going to give a nasty prediction for this one. I'm going to say that the difference between winning and losing in this fight is the left hook. Yeah. I studied both fighters for about an hour today. I sat down, I watched their previous fights, their highlights, their strengths, their weaknesses, and their left hook. Whoever's faster with the left hook is going to be fine.
I believe it was the left that Durandame caught Ladd with, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It was a faster. She's a Dutch kickboxer as well. So being a Dutch kickboxer, they're known for their inside left kick with inside right kick followed by the left hook. So it's going to be whoever's got the faster left hook, and I hope it happens, because then I can clip this and look like a fucking hero when it comes to social media content.
Dude, I had to issue an apology after UFC London. I had to issue an apology because my whole MO is terrible bets. These bets are terrible. Don't bet on them. Like, literally 4 out of 5 came in, and I was very specific with them as well.
Yeah.
I was just like, my bank balance was pretty healthy, but people were angry. People were angry at me. It's like, these bets are supposed to be awful, Bert. What are you doing? I'm sorry. I can only apologize.
That's it.
10 to 1 on Tom Aspinall by submission. Come on, man.
Yeah, that was a
That was
tough
easy
one.
money. That was always going to happen as well.
There you go.
Like, I predict these things. Sorry. Sorry.
So let's skip to the main card. Well, first of all,
one more honorable mention. Please.
Honorable mention.
Just one
Hit me
more.
with it. Go.
Jairzinho and Stoic versus Marcin Tybura. Definitely watch that one. I think Marcin is another one. I think gets it done as an underdog, because when you watch what he did to Greg Hardy, I think it'll be similar. Jairzinho is not brilliant off of his back, but don't stand in front of him. Rosenstreich.
Yes. I see it now.
Biggie boy.
That's going to be a good one for sure.
Yeah. Tybura is an underdog in that one. Quite fancy that, to be fair, because I think the path to victory is pretty clear, is that Tybura will stand long enough to grab a takedown, and Tybura is pretty good from top position. It's not so much the takedowns that are scary, it's his transitions, which is on the floor. Once he gets you onto the floor, he will transition past your guard very, very quickly, or at least he's tended to do that to the opponents that he's managed to get down to the floor. But is that down to maybe his opponents not really knowing what they're doing when they get to the floor? Is it down to him having good knowledge there? Who knows? But I would say that is where I think that one's going.
Yeah. Heavyweight, right?
TKO. Heavyweight, yeah. Big guys.
That's the thing with heavyweights. It's either they're phenomenal on the ground, like, back in the day you had Frank Mir, for example, who was killing these guys on the ground, or they don't know what the hell they're doing, and it ends up being like a hug fest where it's just like strength and pushing, and but then the main card, we've got a replacement fight for Kelvin Gastelum. So Hernandez is not fighting. How do you pronounce this, Burt? Help me out.
Oh, Dricus du Plessis.
Dricus du Plessis. How the hell do you get that? That should be a good fight. I don't want to see Kelvin Gastelum get too much more punishment. Not the best UFC career. Exciting at the beginning. I'm like, I want to give this a respectful ending to his career. I don't think there's much left in the tank, but at the same time, God bless him for getting in there. You can't fault the guy.
Yeah, see, the thing is that it's difficult, this one, and I'll tell you why. It's because I can't see their stats and really match them up against each other, because it's still got Dricus facing Hernandez, and I can't directly. So what's Dricus? He's like 6'1", 76-inch reach. What's the reach on Gastelum?
I don't know his reach, but I do know he's a lot smaller than 6'1".
Yeah.
Put him at 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, I think
that's why a lot of guys
pop
the fringe.
I think he could be in trouble.
Yeah, we'll see.
Also, another one added to the main card that I will just repost my breakdown, because it was supposed to happen. UFC Fight Night 205, Ilir Latifi, Alexei Oleinik.
Yeah.
I think that one, you're going to get some good odds. Well, at the time, when I was betting on it, the bet got voided, but I don't know if the odds are the same or not. But you were getting 4.33 on the Oleinik submission. Now, the reason I'm thinking that is because what's Latifi going to do? Stand and box with Oleinik? He's not going to do that. That's not what he's known for. He's going to try and wrestle with the guy. And with respect, if your best option is to wrestle a man who has 46 submissions on his record, then I think there is at least a chance you might be in trouble. Especially since Oleinik has the reach, he has the height, and Oleinik's boxing isn't terrible. Like he's actually surprised some people, like with his boxing. Like it's just, and yeah, I feel like if Latifi's only option, really, which I think it is, I think with respect to him, his only option is to grab him and get a takedown. But yeah, good luck against Oleinik. Yeah, Oleinik taps people from being mounted, not from mount, from being mounted with the Ezekiel choke.
He got the Ezekiel choke.
More than once. He's got like a few of them on his record.
That's right.
He grabs people and just literally pulls them so that they're mounting him, and he chokes them until they're unconscious. Incredible.
Way to go. There you go, man.
Incredible.
Back to the second fight of the main card, we have Mackenzie Dern versus Tecia Torres. Tecia Torres, the fiance of Raquel Pennington. Mackenzie Dern, in my eyes, is the most beautiful woman in the UFC. A lot of people don't agree with that. You don't either.
No, I don't get it. I really don't. She's look. Obviously she's a good-looking woman. I'm not, I'm not saying that she's all, but I don't get the whole.
This is where we get cancelled.
Yeah, I just think her eyes are too far apart. Is that weird?
That's very weird. I mean, the UFC's website picture, yes.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? The UFC picture is a bad one.
It is.
That is not a good picture of Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern, like, obviously she is gorgeous, like she is. But that picture, Mackenzie, could you ask the UFC why they hate you so much to put that fucking picture up there, please?
It's like, Dana, please go to my Instagram. Go to my Instagram, Dana, and just take one of those pictures.
Please.
Yeah.
Could you get them to? Because honestly, they're doing you no favors with that picture.
So what do we got?
Look, not that that's what this should be about anyway. Like, far be it from me. Your picture should not be there for me to oogle at. Do you know what I mean? You are a fighter, and your skills are going to be what gets this done. Done by submission, obviously.
We're going to get cancelled.
It's obvious. We're going to get cancelled.
So what do we got? We got striker versus grappler, though. I mean, I think it's going to be a case of Mackenzie Dern just imposing her will. I don't think, like, a lot of her fights, she's tried to force the striking. And I think she's got to be more careful because, she's got a few wins now. She could, in 3 or 4 more fights, be in with a shout of getting in the top 5. Against Tecia Torres. Tecia is a very, very strong striker. She's got some great kicks, great punches, and good wrestling defense.
Yeah.
Looking at Mackenzie Dern, jiu-jitsu black belt, a killer on the ground, get it down and get it done quick. In my eyes, I think that's how it should go.
She's not just a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. She's one of the best practicing Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world. That is it's a fact. It is.
Very true.
Like, male, female, she is a special kind of elite when it comes to the ground fighting. And that's going to be, because Mackenzie Dern, she can stand. We've seen her force that a bit too much recently. I agree with you on that. And if she tries to force that against somebody who is as skilled as Tecia Torres on the feet, then that could be a bad night for her. However, I do think that she's got enough experience now where she realizes, you know what, where there is an avenue to put this fight where I need it to be, take the path of least resistance. Take a page out of Marcus Decasi's book from UFC Fight Night 205. I was very impressed with that performance because Marcus Decasi is a striker by trade, but he knows that this other guy come in, Borshev, I think Borshev his name was. Yeah. He was a kickboxer on his second fight, and in mixed martial arts. And so Decasi knows that your grapple. I've been training in MMA for a decade, right? You haven't got the grappling that I've got, and whilst I'm not known as being a grappler, the path of least resistance here, because Decasi probably could have stood with him and probably could have won, but that's not the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance is to get the takedown. I think the same is got to be had for Mackenzie Dern here. Path of least resistance, find any way of getting this to the ground, and then, just take the wind out of the tiny tornado. Just squeeze it right out.
Yeah.
Done.
Now, on top of that, you've got the psychological factor as well of Tecia is fighting on the main card. If Raquel loses in the prelims, Raquel and Tecia, they're engaged to be married. They've got a relationship. There's a psychological part, like the same with Paddy Pimblett and Molly a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, like if Molly had lost, that could have seriously affected Paddy. And we also saw Paddy when she won. Paddy was jumping up and down, roaring in the locker room, like you're wasting a lot of your energy when you're celebrating like that, and when someone is defeated, it's also energy draining. So I think it's going to play a factor.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because actually Dan Hardy alluded to this last time. I watched it was last week's breakdown, I think. Either way, irrelevant. But he alluded to it. He's like, look, at the end of the day, betting on MMA. That's why I always call them terrible bets, because betting on MMA, it's so unpredictable because you don't have all the information. You don't know if they're having a good week, having a bad week. Do you know what I mean? They don't know. You don't know if their missus is giving them grief, if their missus is taking the kids away from them or something. You just don't know. You don't know if they're having the worst goddamn week of their life, and they're human beings as well. And like, as human beings, we're very sensitive creatures. Fighters less so, admittedly. Fighters generally can switch a lot of that off and get into the zone a bit, especially at this level, because there's a reason they're elite athletes. Because that's the difference between the elite athletes and the ones that don't make it that far, is that ability to focus and do. Because I've always said this, is the same with like pool as well, playing pool. Like, if I could play consistently my best every time, I'd be a professional. But that's the difference between a professional and someone who just plays in a pub, in a pool league, is being able to maintain that consistency, being able to constantly, under whatever pressure, just make sure you make that shot. That is the difference. And yeah, I forget what I was originally talking about. Sorry, I went off on
It was a beautiful rant. I'll try and impose some beautiful music, inspirational music on that one.
Yeah, please do. That'd be hilarious.
There you go, man. Next up, we have Gilbert Burns is being fed, in my humble opinion, to
the wolf,
Khamzat Brother Chimaev. I don't know, bro.
Because his nickname is the Wolf. So it's
wolf.
Funny you say about feeding him to the wolves.
Literally, I planned that. I had that
feeding him to the wolf. Oh, nice. No, I like that.
Like
Borscht.
It was when it was announced. I'm like, well, let's look at Gilbert Burns' record. He's got some phenomenal wins in the UFC. He's got a good record. There's not too many losses on his record. But we saw what happened to him in the Kamaru Usman fight. His recent fights have not been super impressive. And we're looking at this new guy who's just this killer who, in his fight the last time, picked up his opponent and
Jiang Liang,
just yelled at Dana White as he was picking him up and walking him towards the cage.
Crazy. It's just the ability to do that. Because not being funny, Jiang Liang is good. He was ranked number 11. You don't get to rank number 11 in the UFC at welterweight by being crap. You just don't. It doesn't happen, right? The fact he was able to pick him up and just calm as you like, walk him over to Dana White, chuck him to the ground and just get the rear naked choke was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. And he's just been pure domination from start to finish. Every single one of his fights, it's not like he's just on a 10-fight win streak. Every one of his fights, I don't know, has he even taken a punch yet? I don't know if he's even...
Very few, not in the UFC.
Not in the UFC. I don't think he's even taken one punch.
Yeah.
Because he's so aggressive and he just walks through people. And it's not just that makes me think that the hype train is real on this one. Because I love a good hype train. I bought my ticket a while back. I'm taking a nap because there are no stops. So we're just it's all the way to the title with this guy. I honestly believe that. Not because but not because of what we've seen in his fights. But I've watched some of his training. I really go into these guys on YouTube and that, and watching what he manages to do to heavyweights. Like it's ridiculous. He just throws everybody around. He's still shouting and being a berserker and throwing weights around the room, and everyone else is just like, fucking hell, Hamza, have a day off, would you? Do you know what I mean? He just never stops. It's crazy, and I really enjoy it. I just enjoy. Well, have you seen any of him and Darren Till out there? Because him and Darren Till are training together in Sweden. And honestly, it's brilliant. I think that's a great move for Darren Till, because Darren Till needed to shore up his wrestling, and he knows that he needed to do that. And and I think part of Chimaev's work ethic is good, because don't get me wrong, that Darren Till is going to be he's not a lazy bones. You know what I mean? He's an elite level fighter. He's not lazy. But he maybe needed just a fresh environment just to insert. Sometimes a change is as good as a rest, if that makes sense.
True.
Like he needed a bit of a change, a bit of a shock to this. It's why you change up your workouts sometimes to just keep to keep the body guessing a bit. And I think that's a great move for Darren Till. But going back to the fight, trying to stay more on topic, so I apologize.
You're good.
I'm meandering away again. But yeah, I don't see that Gilbert Burns is the guy to stop Khamzat Chimaev. However,
well, again, it depends on who shows up. Like the Amanda Nunes versus Pena fight, everyone assumed Amanda would walk through her. Amanda didn't show up. Like the only way Chimaev doesn't reach his goals, which is probably the title, is if he doesn't show up and fight the way he's just been fighting. Like he's a killer. Like he just comes in with this smile, hey brother, I'm going to fight you next, brother. Brother. But it's just like, dude, if he keeps fighting the way he's been fighting and shows up every single night and demolishes his opponents, he's going to be very, very successful. So let's see if he does it in this one. I think he will. I
want to see if I can find.
Gilbert Burns takes him down and submits him in 5 minutes.
No, I don't think it'll be Burns that does that.
What's the weight class? Weight class is welterweight.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's welterweight. And interestingly enough, there we go. That's his name, Ali Askab Kizriev.
Mm-hmm.
Ali Askab Kizriev could be the monkey in the wrench, the fly in the ointment, the pain in the ass. Like
he got a Die Hard reference on a CMA podcast. That's unheard of.
That's not bad, right?
Unheard of, man. Phenomenal.
Yeah, guys, if you've got UFC Fight Pass, you'll find it on YouTube, but go back and check out Ali Askab Kizriev, so Liaskhabkizriev. Now that's it was just on UFC Fight Night 205. He submitted in round 2 Dennis Tulilian. Now it was just impressive. The whole performance was very impressive, and he's a guy that says that he wants to cut down. He was a middleweight. He wants to cut down to welterweight. He could be an interesting fight for Khamzat Chimaev. And then there's that other chap.
It's basically just weathering the storm is the goal here. Because again, we don't have enough fight reel to understand how he operates in round 2 and 3. So let's see what happens with that one. I don't think Gilbert is the guy to get it done. But if Khamzat just doesn't show up and Gilbert gets his jab going, gets his takedowns going, passes guard and submits him, that's obviously a possibility when it comes to fight mathematics.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to say that Gilbert Burns hasn't got a chance in this fight. Obviously he has, but yeah, I'm not. He's definitely up against it. I'm just trying to find. There he is. Shavkat Rakhmonov.
That's a Dagestanian name, right?
No. Kazakhstan. It's from Kazakhstan. 15-0. Because the chap I was talking about before, 14-0. All these guys have not been touched really, and but this guy's actually fought a name. He fought Alex Oliveira, which I know isn't like a huge name, but he submits him with ease. And since then he's gone submission, then knockout. He's just not been touched. He's another guy who's very big for welterweight as well. He's over 6 foot, and he's just a big guy. And he's another one. I think sooner or later those 3 they're going to meet at some point, and we'll see who's better. That's all we can do. But Chimaev has the kind of has the personality as well, which I like. He's smish, brother. Smish everybody.
Let's see what happens with that one. Co-main event of the evening. Trying to be a bit Bruce Buffer on that one, but low energy tonight, Burt. I apologize.
Co-main event of the evening.
We got Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. This one is obviously, if you're not living under a rock, you understand what's at stake here. This is a rematch to a very unfortunate circumstance that happened in their first title fight. I'll post the video here. Basically, Peter Yan had Aljamain Sterling down, was controlling posture, decided to send a knee through Aljamain's head as a downed opponent. And then Aljamain decided, I don't know, it was a strong hit to the temple, right? But there was a lot of acting when it comes to the aftermath of why the fight was stopped. Peter Yan had his hand raised, thinking that he was winning the fight. And then, as it turns out, Aljamain Sterling was awarded the title due to disqualification. So here's the rematch a couple of years later. And what are your thoughts?
Well, first off, Peter Yan, he did bring it on himself.
Yeah.
Because look, it wasn't even an accidental illegal blow. There was nothing accidental about it. Like, he looked at the referee, and the referee said, "No, you can't knee him." And then he blasted a knee into his face. And it's like, right, well, unfortunately, like knees to the head, they do a lot of damage. Did they do a lot of damage? Did they do as much damage as Aljamain was playing up? That's kind of irrelevant, really, right? Because the bottom line is, if they had made him carry on, like, even after 5 minutes, are you saying after being kneed in the head like that, you're not compromised? It wouldn't have been a fair result, whatever happened, because of what Peter Yan did, and that was not Aljamain's fault. That wasn't, because after that point, that's no longer a fair fight, because he landed an illegal blow. It's probably given Aljamain a concussion. Not being funny, it was a hard knee.
Very hard knee. That's the thing.
So bottom line is, like, I have no sympathy for Yan, not really. I'm like, look, you did it, like no one else. Like, you knew the rules, you were familiar with them before you got into the octagon. Now, do I think it's right that the belt changes hands on disqualification? Not really. I think it's a bit suspect. Maybe even vacate the belt at that point or something. But then comes the whole thing with Aljamain Sterling kind of then parading around with the belt a few weeks later, whatever. Yeah. Right now, I have a theory for this, and I think that if you believe all of that stuff, then I think that he got you. I think you're a mark, honestly. Yeah. I think you've got to take a lot of that with a pinch of salt, because what you've got to remember is that Aljamain is not a dumb guy. He's pretty smart, right? He knows, as well as most people do, that fans will pay to see somebody lose more than they'll pay to see somebody win. It's why Floyd Mayweather made his fortune, right? Now, he has the belt, whether he's deservedly given it or not. He's got the belt. That means pay-per-view points on the next fight. So he has got to do everything that he can to try and make sure that people watch the fight. Whether they boo him or cheer him, they are paying him.
Very true.
And that is why he's been doing what he's doing. I don't think, and people think that he's been goofing off and whatever. And the thing is actually, this fight is not a foregone conclusion. People are kind of, because of all the goofing around, I think you get, like, the odds on Aljamain Sterling are astronomical at this point, which they shouldn't be. Yeah. They're quite long. Hold on, let me see what the actual odds are. Because this is a good thing about using my phone. I can pull up the odds real time. He is a plus 450 underdog. That's 3.5 to 1 against, just to win.
No, I thought you said it. Okay, so yeah, he's right. Okay, makes sense.
A heavy underdog.
Okay.
And the thing is, right?
I would think that he is an underdog, not a super heavy underdog. I think he gets knocked out or TKO'd in this one.
See, for me, I'm not quite sure, because, okay, both of them, they now know a little bit of what to expect, and that knowledge is powerful. It is. Like, Aljamain knows how strong he is. He knows what to expect, right? He knows, he probably knows that he was probably getting bested in that first fight. He's not an idiot, right? But also, you've got to bear in mind that, like, the Aljamain Sterling, he didn't have surgery for the fun of doing it. He has had legit problems with his neck for years. And then you've got to wonder, look, if he's managed to get his neck sorted out, if he's able to now train properly, because, you know, for a while, he would, like, even like in the build up to the Yan fight, like, there was loads to talk about. Like, there was points where he couldn't train for like weeks at a time because his neck was fucked, really. So you got to think, okay, if there's any truth to that at all, then maybe he was compromised going into that fight already. and it was still a pretty good fight. It wasn't like, I'd say Peter Yan was winning, but it wasn't like a complete blowout to the point where I was giving Aljamain no chance of coming back into it. Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it wasn't that kind of fight. It wasn't like I'm trying to think of like it wasn't like when Cain Velasquez fought Junior Dos Santos for like, what was it, the third time, where I was just like, there is no way. I was like, throwing the towel. This is hard to watch. This is horrible. It wasn't that kind of beating. It was literally like, well, you know, Aljamain, he's a takedown and a good position away from finding a choke here, because he's very, very good at that. You've got to remember, he is an elite level athlete. You don't get to those title fights without being really, really good. Yeah. And I think that a lot of the clowning with the belt and stuff like that has really skewed the perception of him. And people think that because they believe he doesn't deserve the title, that actually he's not going to be able to do anything to Peter Yan. And I don't think that's strictly true. I think that Yan is human. He has weaknesses. You know, he has 2 losses on his record. One of them a disqualification, admittedly. But it's but he does. But yeah, but Aljamain Sterling's only got 3 losses on his record. He submitted Corey Sandhagen, for God's sake. How impressive does that?
Yeah. There was a rear naked choke, right? You know?
Yeah, just literally jumped on him straight away. Got him like a backpack, bang, done. And Aljamain Sterling is he is elite level at grappling. He's really very good. I think in boxing range, yeah, PC Yan's probably got his number. But I think if Aljamain can find a way of getting it out of boxing range and keeping it in kicking range, especially because Aljamain's got some very good kicks, and he's got the reach as well. You know, he's quite a long fighter, and if he can use that reach and also just find ways to make the fight kind of arduous and just get him down to the ground, use his weight, because he's quite a hefty built guy, Aljamain Sterling, when you look at his frame, whereas PC Yan's just a smaller kind of like guy, but he'll box your head off. I'm not saying like PC Yan's the favorite, and he should be, because he probably wins this fight. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that people are kind of accounting Aljamain out because of the antics, because of the narrative going into it, and I think that would be a mistake, especially if Peter Yan has bought into any of that as well. I'm not sure what, because again, we're used to seeing Peter Yan be this ice cold, calculated, like Drago style Russian with no emotion, nothing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But in this, he's actually he's been doing a lot of tweeting. He's been doing a lot of talking, a lot of like, you know,
he's emotional, for sure,
going in there. Yeah. Emotional fighters make mistakes. And I don't think that Aljamain Sterling is going to go in there emotional. I really don't. He's already laughing. He's laughing because the joke has already worked. Do you know what I mean? Because Peter Yan's already started to get kind of like to buy into it. And now that he's done that, I think Aljamain almost knows that he's got a psychological advantage. And I would say that maybe he does have a psychological advantage going into this fight, because it's like, look, you know, you're going to have to beat me now.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Not about what can I do to you. It's like I said, I think
should be a good one.
Yan rightly the favorite, but don't count Sterling out. In a nutshell, is what I'm saying.
There you go.
I could have shortened that whole bit down to that, really, couldn't I?
Oh, good. That's the power of mental editing. You know what I mean? Right, guys. Before we go to the main event of the evening, we're going to pause for another quick word from our sponsor. All right, guys. We are back with another quick word from our sponsors. Burt, do you know who Lola Tong is? Look at these.
I believe.
Look at these guns, man. Look at these fucking guns right here.
I believe they are some sort of fashion company that sell really, really great clothing.
Beautiful branding, man.
Right?
Absolutely beautiful branding, man. I absolutely love it. You've always known me to be a guy who really prides himself on fashion,
well dressed.
Right? Yeah, that's not true. But I'm trying, though. I am trying. And if you guys go to lolatong.com and go to checkout, make a purchase and go to the promo code section and hit promo code CMA, you will get a 10% discount. Once again, lolatong.com. Go to the promo code section on your checkout, and with your purchase, you will get a 10% discount when you enter the promo code CMA. They are partnering with us. They love us. We love them. I just feel good in their clothes, man. I got their baggy hoodie
Yeah.
right now, and it's subtle, you know. There's no like Metallica or whatever, or Led Zeppelin, you know what I mean? It's in your face. Lola Tong hat right here. Just very, very simple and smooth. I got the guns out when I'm walking on the streets, and I'm like, hey, how
They
you
do any
doing?
t-shirt because I always get the guns out. It's like I like these t-shirts with the like I like the
Yeah,
polos. They do polos?
they do polos, man. Go check out
Yeah,
their
man.
website,
Do need to.
lolatong.com. Make a purchase. CMA, 10% at checkout. Rock and roll. All right. And we're back, guys. lolatong.com. Go get yourself a purchase. Burt, we are back with the main event of the evening. That is Mr. Alexander Volkanovski versus the Korean zombie, Chang Sung Jung. Very, very excited for this one, man.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah,
you think
same.
it's going to go?
One way only. I'm
Really?
afraid.
You're
Yeah.
very confident.
I
That was said with
I
too much
think
confidence, if you don't mind me saying so.
I think I think honestly, Alexander Volkanovski is one of the most underrated fighters on the roster. Like I know he's rated highly. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think that is highly enough. I really think that he might be one of the toughest guys to ever do it. Like legitimately, I don't know what you can do to that guy to put him away. Where like, you see those submissions that Ortega had him in, like
Yeah, yeah.
twice. That fight should have been over. Like how how do you defeat a man that doesn't seem to need oxygen? Because
Yeah,
he had him in two chokes that were so tight that it was just like, I don't even understand. Well, it's because of that neck. It's because of that rugby neck, isn't it? That's what it
true.
is. Because it's because he used to. I've got a theory behind it. Obviously, he used to walk around. He used to weigh about like 220 pounds. He was
Yeah,
like a
yeah. He
rugby
was
player,
huge, right? I
right?
saw pictures of him
and
when he was playing rugby.
and he wasn't like he was a semi-professional rugby player. Like the team that he played, people go, oh, yeah, but he played like pro rugby. He didn't. He played for like a kind of a good team. Like he was good, but not like what we could like a Premiership team. Like it wasn't like that kind of level of
Mhm.
rugby, but he was good. But I've got a theory behind that. So his heart and lungs are used to carrying around 230 pounds, and now he's brought his frame down, and he makes the weight very comfortably, like 145 pounds, and it means that his heart and lungs, they're so used to carrying around that extra weight that it's just
Yeah, yeah.
he can just put a pace on people that you just can't match. And then when you get him into a choke, yeah, good luck. The guy can hold his breath for 30 minutes, it seems. Like, well,
Yeah, his head went
what are you going to do with
purple
that?
during that
Yeah,
mounted was a mounted
because there was
guillotine.
a guillotine and a triangle straight after as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, and I don't think he beat him on the feet. I don't think there's anyone in that division that's quick enough to beat him on the feet and tough enough just to grind that war of attrition, that kind of just, I am going to just put on a pace. I'm going to mix it in with take, because what I like about Volkanovski is he's a mixed martial artist. He mixes everything in.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. There isn't there are it's like he's not like outstanding in any one kind of area. But there is one area where he's outstanding. That is his heart and his determination and just his sheer grit, his sheer will to win. Similar to Michael Bisping. It's like similar to
Yeah.
Michael Bisping in that respect, because Michael Bisping, like he's obviously elite. He's an elite level athlete, but he wasn't like on pay, like physically. He wasn't. What's the best way to say it? He wasn't kind of like a Superman in any area. It wasn't like, whoa, this guy's a superhuman kickboxer as far as a stud wrestler. It's like, but it was just his will to win more than anything. I see that in Volkanovski. I see it every single time he fights.
Yeah.
He's always there just to win at all costs. And it's like, and obviously the third fight with Max is probably coming. Maybe look.
That's the one they tried to do already, right? That was scheduled and
yeah.
Max had to pull out, right?
Yeah, and so they replaced him with the Korean Zombie, which I like. I do like it as a fight. Don't get me wrong. And you know what? The Zombie's got as good a chance as any. The guy can hit and he can get hit. Will he? But that's part of my concern. They call him the Zombie because he's willing to take punishment It's like, you don't want to be a guy willing to take punishment going up against Volkanovski, who can really put punishment on. Like, he can really put punishment on.
Yeah.
Volkanovski, you see Ortega's face after that fight. It was ridiculous.
It was tough.
And and
Dana,
and the thing
after, remember Dana was saying, hey, I don't care what happens. You guys skip all your interviews and go straight to the hospital. It looked rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think that, Volkanovski for me, it's going to be a while before he gets dethroned. I think if anyone is going to start touching Mighty Mouse's records, honestly, I have Volkanovski circled. I rate him very, very highly. And I don't think Max beats him a third time. I really don't. I just think that, and also, I'm not really thing is like, how many rematches do you give Max Holloway? Like, do you want to keep having a do-over until you get the result that you want? It just that kind of bugs me a little bit. I don't think that. I honestly, I think that because people haven't moved past that second fight with Max yet, because they keep going on. Oh, but it was a robbery. No, it wasn't. Honestly, I didn't really know at the end of that fight who was getting their hand raised. It was close. So I think the only person in that division who can really give Volkanovski a fight is Alexander Volkanovski, and as we saw, Brian Ortega, who did give him a fight. But after those 2 submission attempts, it was just one-way traffic, wasn't it? It was a massacre.
Yeah, but you got to look at the creative submissions from Chang Sung. How do you pronounce it? Chang Sung Jung?
Chang Sung Jung. Yes.
I don't want to get cancelled for that, but I would call him the Korean Zombie. That's his nickname.
Yeah.
But like creative submissions, his striking is good. It's on point. Again, yes, MMA mathematics doesn't work, like the MMA gods don't give a fuck. But at the same time, who shows up in the night? Who's quicker? Who zigs when they should have zagged? All of these play a factor when the guys are that good. And I think Alexander gets the job done for sure. But I think it's not as like far apart. There's not leagues difference between these two guys. I think creative submissions play a huge factor into this one as well, because Korean Zombie got Dustin Poirier with the darts. There was what's Eddie Bravo's one? The Twister. There was a Twister in there.
The Twister. The Korean Zombie was the first fighter to ever actually get a Twister in MMA. I think
it's very creative. It was against I think he's a Mexican.
I'm going to throw it out there though. I don't think he's getting a Twister on Volkanovski.
No, for sure. It was a once in a lifetime one, but
I don't think he's doing that.
But just that creative nature, that ability to see an opportunity.
You know what? I mean, it may be worth going Zombie by submission. I mean, 47% of his wins are by submission.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that. I thought he had more by knockouts, honestly.
Yeah. Time will tell, man. People like you and me look stupid on a Sunday, if we.
Oh yeah. I don't say it for a Sunday. I look stupid 7 days a week, my man. It's what I live on. It's what I breathe on. Do you know what I mean? It sustains me.
There you go, man. But it's always a pleasure talking fights with you, brother.
Yeah, same, man. Thank you for having me. Sorry, I went off on a few tangents again. I've left you some editing to do.
Dude,
I always do.
This is what I'm
bloody
for.
Nightmare, aren't I?
This is what I'm paid for. I love it. I'll probably keep most of this in, because that's the thing. As we get more, a lot of it was
relevant. To be fair.
Yeah, I was about to say that before you said it before me. As we get more comfortable, I guess, talking about potential fights that we're analyzing and things like that, you end up talking about more relevant things than just like tangents onto. You could be talking about a heavyweight fight, and all of a sudden we're talking about Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, that's true. It's, and all the potential, because, like I said, I thought the bits with Khamzat were worth noting, because again, because it's just worth noting that there are other guys in that division that they might not have the same noise around them, but they're 14-0, 15-0, very similar styles, very similar sizes, and it's like, when those guys collide, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Sure, man. Let us know. Let us, for anyone who doesn't know, where are you? How can you be found? And where are you showing your stuff?
Oh, blimey. Well, YouTube is predominantly the platform, the Burt Locker on YouTube. I do usually 2 shows a week. drop clips every day. I sometimes just put in my 2 cents on there. It's a good follow. So please like and subscribe, because I'm always putting content out there. It gets better every time, I promise you. And the bets are fun. I like to do what I like to refer to as MMA scratch cards, right? It's like having a scratch card, except you get to watch people punch each other in the face. Yeah, you're probably not going to get rich off it, but you're going to enjoy the fuck out of the experience, the process. You know what I mean? And that's how I do my betting. I don't think that trying to get rich betting on anything is particularly smart, which is why they are terrible bets.
There you go. And as you said on previous podcasts, gamble within your means, drink responsibly, things like this. You know?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's like, you only live once, but live responsibly is what I'm saying.
There you go. Well, apparently they're changing that now in the woke cultures. You only die once.
That's true, actually. No, you do. You live every day. You die once.
There you go. Words to live by right there. I'm actually going to start my own life beginners company. I'm going to be a life coach, Burt. That's what I'm going to do, man. I'm going to get all the inspirational quotes from the memes that I look at every day and put on a shirt and tie and just preach those memes and be the biggest scam artist in the history of mankind.
Conceive, believe.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, brilliant.
I love it. Or the other one with what's his name? Chael Sonnen and Tito with the jackal. Tell another jackal story.
Oh, is that Chael Sonnen when he was just like, fucking Chael Sonnen. Gold. So funny. I can't remember. It's like I think it was close in the build to the same fight where like literally he was just like, hey guys, how about instead of interviewing Tito today, how about you interview my shoe? You'll get a much better level of response, a far more eloquent conversation.
And one more for the bad guy.
One more for the bad guy.
There you go, man.
Brilliant.
I sent an email. I sent quite a few emails to Chael on his Instagram through the email section, and I never got anything back. But my goal after Zach Wilde from Black Label Society was to get the one and only Chael Sonnen as a guest on CMA podcast. So
I'm sure if he had the time, he would do it. Like keep pestering him, because he's from what I've heard, he's quite an approachable, quite a nice guy. Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of Chael. Like he's one of my all-time favorite. Not fighters, but MMA personalities. He's just brilliant. He's so funny.
I love him. I love the guy.
Yeah, I thought his fighting style was brilliant as well. I loved what he brought to the table. I thought honestly, when he fought Bisping and won, I was like, well, that was a robbery. You want to see a robbery, Max Holloway fans? Go back and watch that shit. You tell me how fucking Chael Sonnen won that fight. Even Chael said afterwards, just like, I was a bit lucky to win that one. I don't think he said it officially, but I think he said it in a couple of interviews where it's like, I was surprised, because I think it might have been an interview with Michael Bisping actually, where like they talked about it, and he was like, yeah, honestly, Mike, I was surprised. I was like, what? Okay,
no, man. Chael Sonnen, man.
I talk the shit. Yeah.
Never lost a round, that guy.
Never lost a round, undefeated, undisputed.
There you go.
What was it? He's on the. I can't remember. There was a thing that he said after he submitted Shogun Hua. It's like
Vanderlei. He said 10 feet.
No. He submitted Shogun Hua.
Yeah, he submitted Shogun. He called out Vanderlei.
No, well, he might have done it, but I think it might have been like slightly after them. But he did like a little limerick, like
to Joe Rogan.
I'm the people's choice. I'm the ladies' regret. And if you bet against Chael P, then you made a bad bet. It was something like that.
The greatest arms and the greatest charm. And
yeah.
Phenomenal.
The biggest arms in West Lynn, Oregon.
Love that guy.
Yeah. And don't forget the P stands for icon.
I love it. Mr. Burt Green, thank you very much once again for joining me, man. You will be back on here for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I love being on, man. I enjoy everything. As you know, I'm always very vocal in the comment section. And more F-bombs, please. And
more F-bombs coming.
Yeah. No, keep doing everything you're doing, man. Absolutely love it. And yeah, just have me on whenever you've got time. I'm
Likewise,
happy to
my
be
man.
here.
Absolutely. Well, the thing about these breakdowns is whenever I do my breakdowns or whenever I want to get upskilled on a potential breakdown, I go back to your videos and I try and take what you're saying in your articulate English and try and regurgitate it so that the teacher doesn't know that I'm copying, you know?
Well, the thing is I do a lot of my research is just going through like other podcasts, watching interviews with the fighters themselves, and watching all their fights.
Yeah.
It's no different. It's like, because the thing is like, yeah, my bets are terrible, but the research really is there. It's like with the Aspinall bet was a prime example. I was like, look, I know that this guy he started his first taste of training was at a jiu-jitsu school called Aspinall's Jiu-Jitsu. His father was one of the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. So like, yeah, so him being 10-1 to get the submission, I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what were the bookies looking at? He won't be 10-1 to get the submission again. I'll tell you that much.
There you go, man.
You're not getting that again. Yeah. Sometimes lightning strikes once.
Twice sometimes. Burt Green, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your words, your wise words and wisdom. And we'll talk to you again very soon.
Take care, buddy.
Rock and roll, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy the fights.